Hi interwebs, this is Meli, and on this video I'm going to show you how I made these hexagon shelves on Crafter Maker. So I started this project by laminating two pieces of plywood together and then cutting them into 1.5-inch strips. I set my miter saw to 30 degrees, set up a stop block, and started cutting the strips into my final pieces. For this build, you're going to need 18 pieces per shelf. I wanted the shelves to have really strong joints, and the best way to go about this was to stagger the pieces. That way they'll act like finger joints. So going into this, I really didn't have a strategy as far as how to put things together. So I cut this really fancy jig out of a scrap piece of 2x6 and started gluing things. And this wasn't necessarily the most effective way to do it, just because I had to wait for the glue to dry before moving on. And I wasn't the most patient about that, and this caused for some, hiccups in the build. Then I realized that I could just use my staple gun to hold things together while I can move on with the build, and I didn't have to stop and wait for the glue to dry. And this made the process a whole lot faster, so I could just clamp everything and make sure everything was secure before moving on. Once the glue was dry, there was time to do a whole lot of sanding. So my orbital sander didn't necessarily fit on the inside of these shells, so I had to sand them by hand. But once I was done with sanding, I put 2 coats of polycrylic, and with that, the shells were done. To hang the shelves, I cut out the shapes out of paper and stuck them to the wall with painter's tape. This was actually really helpful in figuring out how to arrange the shelves on the wall before actually hanging them. I made these because I wanted to see if I can build a polygonal shelf without doing any additional supports like screws or splines or things like that, and it actually worked out really well. I'm really happy how they turned out. They're really strong, I love the colors of the plies, and they look really cool. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click the like button. It actually helps out a lot. And if you have any questions, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Bye!